Hey everybody, what's going on? The Montreal Canadiens are in a very daunting road trip right now, and there's plenty to dive into from that. But this video is going to be focused on what the Montreal Canadiens prospects are up to right now at the World Junior Championship. There's plenty of interest in that because of the high-end talent that the Habs sent to the tournament this year. But before we dive into that, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's as easy as looking in the bottom right-hand corner of this video and hitting that subscribe button. The Montreal Canadiens sent four prospects to the World Junior Championships this year, highlighted by Lane Hudson with Team USA, Owen Beck with Team Canada, Philip Mazar with Team Slovakia, and Jacob Fowler with Team USA as well. There's a lot of high-end skill here that's present within this group, with Hudson and Mazar playing in two of the bigger roles in this tournament for their respective teams. Slovakia has been kind of under the radar, but they've already been on a tear to start this tournament, and there's a lot of promise in that group, which should be interesting once we get to the medal rounds as well, because there's a lot of depth with this Slovakia squad. But Mazar is playing a very important role. He had another 3 assists in today's game, and he's putting up the points in this tournament, even if it is against the lesser competition to this point. You can see the high-end playmaking, and what he thrives off of is playing with his transition game and in the rush, because he's able to use his speed, skill, and his high-end passing sense, which is exactly why he's made it into being one of the top prospects outside of the NHL. We're not ready to put him in the elite status, but he's definitely a solid top six potential prospect for the Montreal Canadiens, which is exactly what you're looking for at this point in their development. Moving on to Lane Hudson with Team USA, he hasn't been as dynamic as I would have liked to have seen with the puck so far in this tournament, but there's still a lot of runway left for him in this tournament, especially when you consider that we haven't even reached the medal rounds yet. There's some big games left for Team USA, and we're going to see him play an elevated role in those contests. You'd like to see him make a little bit better decisions with the puck, but so far I've been impressed with how he's played defensively more than he has offensively, which is something that he's clearly been tasked to work on at the university so far this season. So I think there's a lot of strides that he's making in his game defensively that have been highlighted evidently, but we know what he's capable of offensively, and he's still running that top power play unit for USA. So I think there's a lot of upside to his game. And by the end of the season, once his college season is done, we're likely going to see him sign a contract with the Montreal Canadiens and debut. So you'll get kind of a better idea of how he stacks up with the NHL talent once he gets there. But we already know this is a player that has a really high ceiling and someone that Montreal Canadiens fans should be very excited about. Owen Beck is playing in a little bit more of a check-in role with Team Canada on their fourth line. He's going to see a bigger role against teams like Sweden that Canada is going up against later today. You're likely going to see him elevate with his ice time and maybe get even more offensive chances in that role as well because of the increased ice time. But it's a big task to be known as the shutdown line on Team Canada because of the amount of depth that this program continues to have on a yearly basis. So I think that Beck being in a leadership role with Team Canada and playing that solid shutdown role shows what he can be in the NHL, because I don't think you're going to envision him as an eventual top six forward. I believe he's going to be a really solid third line center in the NHL, and we know the value that can provide for a team. Look no further than Philip Deneau and what he did with the Montreal Canadiens during their Stanley Cup run and what he's doing now with the Los Angeles Kings. So I do believe that there's a lot of value in what Beck brings to the table, along with what Jacob Fowler is doing in the crease with Team USA. This is a goalie that's putting up historic numbers in college, and I do believe that he has that eventual number one ceiling. Whether he reaches that with the Montreal Canadiens down the road remains to be seen, but you have to really like what you've seen out of the young goalie prospect to this point, especially considering he's being the backup for Team USA and the numbers that he's putting up this season. So I do believe that there's a lot of upside in this player. I'm not really sure because goalies are kind of voodoo when it comes to their projections, but I do like him as an eventual number one in the NHL. That's it for me today from Cook's Corner. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on the Montreal Canadiens prospects at the World Junior Championship and what you think their ceiling is at the NHL level. I'm Zach Cook. We'll see you later.